Are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? If you're a woman, you're not alone. With over 1,000 hormone disruptors in our environment, it's no wonder things can feel out of balance. On top of that, natural changes like PMS, menopause, and other life stages can leave you feeling tired, irritable, and trapped in a constant battle with your body. But here's the good news. You don't have to suffer through it. Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth is here to help. This herbal formula fine-tunes your hormones, balancing estrogen, testosterone, and even stress hormones like cortisol, which can contribute to weight gain, racing thoughts, poor sleep, and more. With over 40,000 five-star reviews and a bottle selling every 24 seconds, the results speak for themselves. Ready to feel like yourself again? For a limited time, get 15% off your first order at happymammoth.com using code NEXTCHAPTER at checkout. Visit happymammoth.com today and get your old self back naturally.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
Welcome to the law firm of Davis and Davis. We're not a real law firm.
Go ahead, grab a beer, a glass of wine, sit back and listen.
Hey, Burke and I are here to welcome you back to part 2. You know, we didn't always tent it. There were several places that we went to where tenting wasn't possible. Kind of like the place in Virginia. What was where you backed the car into the wall?
South Boston.
South Boston Speedway, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. Right up till I was looking at the spoiler.
Oh, that was the trek where I met Denny Hamlin. As a matter of fact, Mike Cook looked at me and he was like, the cars are I think it was Norm Benning's car. I think we were also pitting Norm Benning. And one of the cars, either ours or Norm's, was overheating. He's like, go over to Denny Hamlin's trailer and get some water. Okay. I'm like they're gonna have water.
Didn't they were on there in the late model deal, were they not?
They were there in the late model. It was the last race that Denny was running in the late model. As a matter of fact, he was late to qualifying because he was getting his seat fitted with Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah.
So
they were cool. They offered us shade in their hauler because we were all about to expire from heat exhaustion. So that was cool.
Was this the place where I went? I know that there's a lot that you can say about my jacking abilities. I don't want to discuss that right now.
Well, there was broken ribs involved, so.
But I was tire carrier at Salem. When we were at South Boston, I was jackman, and I went to jack up the side of the car. It was so hot that the jack sank. It sank into the asphalt. So
yeah.
I pump it up. I get the car up high enough for them to get the wheels off, and the jack just sank in the asphalt. And they're like, can't get the tire off. Can't get the tire off. Pump again. Pump again. I'm like, jack's fully extended.
There's
I
no
don't know
more?
what to tell you, man.
There's no more.
Giving it all she's got, Captain.
I look over at Mike Cook afterwards. And when we get together, he's like, when the frick am I going to get a break? I'm like,
Hey,
I don't know, man.
yeah, dude, that was so stinking hot.
Yeah, that was the hottest I think I've ever been at a racetrack. And I mean, I've done bush races over here at Texas Motor Speedway. Nothing was as hot as that was.
Yeah, that was murderous.
Yeah, it was brutal. And I felt bad for Timmy, because Timmy was actually our body guy as well. I just painted the cars, man. and I would change out the rear chunk when I had to.
Right. Oh, gosh.
And if anyone ever tells you that you have to change out the rear chunk, go ahead and do it, but don't take their advice of laying directly under it when you take the chunk off. Chris Cook thought that was the funniest thing he could ever do to me. Yeah,
Picked
just
you right up.
lay directly under it, pull that chunk out, covered in gear lube, and that thing was so fucking heavy, I thought I was going to knock a tooth out.
Well, if it had hit you in the head, it would have.
And all I hear from under the car is my brother going, dumbass.
Oh,
so
yeah,
supportive.
brotherly love. Hey, you jackass, you want to get out of the oil. You need a rag?
So, besides ARCA, there was one other story that I knew I had to bring up. And it's either you, I can't remember if it was you or Ed, who was driving out to California with Mike Carmen's car.
Yeah, that was me.
I do believe it was
And
you.
actually, yeah, it was me.
Do tell. Do tell.
Yeah. Well, let's just put it this way. It's a wonder I'm not in a Louisiana parish jail still. There was really great state troopers there that they must have just had pity on a bunch of dumb idiots, and they really didn't check a whole lot. I mean, it was a miracle that everybody was alive and nobody was hurt, and it was a pure accident. Well, let's see. I can't remember the fellow's name. It was Peterson's motorhome. He had a toter home at that point, or maybe it was still Harmon's. I guess it was Harmon's before it was Peterson's. And so Harmon was doing the Bush Series, and the other guy that I went with was doing it as well, but he was kind of a starting parker, and I never really did figure him out. He was in the racing game, but for some reason, I guess Ed kind of fixed me up with that because it was a job, not a driving job, but it was going to drive with that guy who had teamed up with Harmon. He was hauling Harmon's car and his car. So we had two cars, two different teams. Harmon was going to do the I guess I don't even recall what he was doing. I guess it was just another Bush entry, but it seemed like there was two races. So we take off to California in this toter home, and going up hills, it wouldn't even do 50 miles an hour. So it was a slow road. And man, it was, if it ever had to cross the scales, it was probably overloaded. And go do the races, and actually, I almost got a bush start out there, which was crazy because the guy that was going to race hadn't been cleared for a track that size, and that was a 2-mile track, and I had actually been on Daytona at that point. So it never materialized, and that was fine. But on the way back, man, coming through Texas, road was really rough, and I was driving. I'll say I was driving this thing that needed a CDL because it had air brakes. And do I have a CDL license? Nope. Mm-mm.
Oops.
So driving it, I think we were on 10 actually, and it was one particularly rough patch. And we're not speeding. I mean, it wouldn't, But all of a sudden, I looked over. It wouldn't. Yeah, I looked over at the guy in the passenger seat, and I was like, "Did that just happen?" He's like, "Yeah, I think so." Where the trailer and the truck were bouncing so hard, when the trailer pushed down on the back of the hitch, it picked the right front tire up off the road. And I was like, "Holy crap! Are you kidding me?" I mean, they were rough. So it's like all you could do is slow. I mean, nothing happened. It was like you could slow down. Okay, so you slowed down, get through the rough patch. Luckily, we switched drivers, and I had just gotten back to the little recliner that was back there, and I was kind of laid back, going to take a little bit of a nap, and it was dark. And then probably 100 times worse than the tick burning sound that you heard is what I heard outside. And I jumped up out of the recliner and leaned out the side window, and I won't repeat the words that I said, but it was like, "Oh, something or another, the trailer is loose."
Oh, shit.
And exactly. And I'm watching the trailer go off on the shoulder of the road. Shower of sparks, dirt, debris. And luckily, the guy driving didn't slam on the brakes because it would have just hit us.
Oh, shit.
And so I'm doing play-by-play. The trailer's come loose. And I watched it just bulldoze off the side of the road. And it just so happened that there was an off-ramp there. So you kind of, know the grading. It wasn't a cliff, or anything. And this trailer just walked up the mountain, the little grade where you would go up, off of the interstate, and then it kind of followed the grade back down to the flat, and it never tipped over. Anybody that was behind it, of course, saw it happening, so they had all hit the brakes. Nobody hit it. It didn't hit anything, and it was just like, I can't believe that just happened.
Damn.
And yeah, I mean, it was surreal. We got stopped, of course. We go back, we're checking to make sure, nobody had been injured, behind us. And of course, nobody had hit it and, or wrecked because of it. And then the next thing I can remember is every police light that probably was in 50 miles was there.
They just wanted to take a picture. These dumbasses done lost their trailer.
I can imagine the radio. Yeah. You guys got to get down here and see this. I can't believe it.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
None of us got tickets. Somebody should have gone to jail. I mean,
actually, a toter home does not need a CDL.
Yeah, but this wasn't actually, it had air brakes.
Yeah.
Because I remember them saying, it's like, "Man, I don't have a CDL." And they're like, "Yeah, well, this thing needs it, but, we're going to get by on that."
Yes.
This thing had a...
Hello?
This thing had a bumper hitch, man. Like on the back of your pickup truck.
Oh, yeah.
And you're hauling two cars?
Like a Pintle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know it was heavier. It was made for that. It's not like we got one at the parts store and it bolted. But it was what was there. But that's basically what it was.
As long as it had a toilet in it, it is considered an RV and not a truck, even with air brakes.
Yeah, but they luckily never went and investigated.
So you were totally legal, except for the fact that it wasn't legal in the state of California because it didn't have emissions.
Yeah, well, that was before all the nonsense they had out there. This is 100 years ago, so you could cross state lines with something that wasn't electric, But and the thing about that is cops came, they're okay, everything's cool. I couldn't tell you what kind of report they wrote or what they did. And I know they left with every piece of memorabilia that the guy had, and they were really cool. And the trailer was secure, so who's gonna take it, right? And so I don't remember what we ended up doing that night, but we basically, and I'm not kidding you, the next morning we found a parts store and we found a receiver part to the hitch and stuck it in there and rehooked the trailer up and came home.
Wow.
I mean, that's the only part that broke. And we got another receiver piece and stuck it in there and then hooked up the trailer and made it the rest of the way home.
Damn. Not
nuts.
Now, on top of that, Timmy and I had to live with each other in Mountain Home, Arkansas for 3 months. I thought we were going to kill each other.
I just keep you away from the bondo and the bondo and the grinder, baby.
So yeah, we'd go to a race, and all that was, I mean, Mike had to go do his regular job. So Tim and I, we fixed everything. I mean, if it was broken, we fixed it. I have never used so much Bondo in my life.
Oh, well, we did help Mike. We did go help him. You remember digging one particular rocky trench?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, that's probably the second hottest.
That was downright evil, and it was the longest trench of my life. But I mean, there were other jobs that we did that were much, much better, like soldering in the fixtures at that mansion that he was doing. That
sounds very race related.
Dude, you got to pay the bills, man.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
Tents are not cheap.
I didn't get mine was. And I didn't have to replace mine.
Walmart special, $29.95.
Matter of fact, I still got that tent. I still got that tent. It's hanging up in the shop, and I'm thinking, ever go to a race again, I'm going to break it out just to prove a point.
Talladega was always a fun time. Woke up one time under a bus. I don't know how I fell asleep under a bus, but I fell asleep under a bus.
Nice and shady, I'm sure.
Woke up one time
with
a teenage girl in my tent that I knew who she was. I'm not going to say any names, but how she got there, I'm not quite sure.
I don't remember that. Thank goodness.
Did you offer her candy? What the hell?
No.
Moving on, right?
No. Needless to say, Timmy might not remember it, but he knows the person.
Okay. I draw a
Timmy, got
blank.
any daughters?
Nothing.
Timmy's one of those fathers that I would be afraid to date his daughter.
I don't know why.
Because
y'all have large gauge shotguns. That's why.
You could be vindictive if you wanted to.
Well, see, it's more of a preemptive thing. So my daughter that I have now, she's learning very well, and I'm thinking that she's probably going to be wise in her choice of whoever she brings home when she starts to date, because she knows me well enough that she'll be like, "Oh no, you're not going to the house."
You won't make it past my old man.
Yeah, I've told her, like, whatever the situation is, talk about some guy and I'll be like, be somebody else. I'm using somebody else's situation. I look at her and I said, I hope you're smart enough, and I know you're smart enough to ever bring something home like that. Like, the guy pulling up and saying, "Hey, bro, see ya."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
good.
that would go over well.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well,
I could get your brother to just break his ribs.
He'd have to clear parole first.
Dang it. You'll have that on the big jobs.
I think we found a new T-shirt.
Exactly. There's some more merchandise.
I said, "Oh,
I'm skating."
Oh, I mean, yeah, the Kevin Lionel shirt, and now I've got the Tim Turner shirt. I can actually take his. I superimposed a picture of, his face sitting holding two lions and having an Arab wrap on the top of his head.
Yeah, I'm thinking that you might be heading for some more broken ribs here with the Photoshop thing.
And
because you won't believe it, but I still have one of you, sir.
Needless to say, I posted it on the website, and within 10 minutes, I think I got a phone call going, "Take that shit down."
I don't know why.
I was like, "It's funny, Timmy. It's funny."
Yeah, you see what kind of sponsorship rolled in off of that fun, right?
Yeah, nothing.
Exactly.
So I was working with the head of public relations for Red Bull at that point in time. And they were not into motorsports yet. And
we probably just want to move on. Yeah, because that's still sore. You were talking to them.
It's very, very sore. I literally took pictures of Tim on top of a truck with a Red Bull can on the back.
Yeah.
And sent
Absolutely.
it to him. And he was like, "That's freaking hilarious." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks. Now give us some money." And lo and behold, I knew something was going on because he started to ghost me. And I was like, "What's going on?" And that's when they made the announcement that they were going into NASCAR. I was like,
"Yep, 2 cars, not just one, mind you, but 2.
2 cars. That was after I sent not 1, but 2 K&K Racing proposals, including a car graphicsed up with Red Bull logos, everything. It was
They probably stole it and put it on their own.
Oh, now that I think about it, the graphics that we did were almost exactly the same as the
Yes, they
NASCAR
were.
car.
But
Yeah.
but yet just enough to say that they didn't get that from you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. There's my claim to fame in the ARCA Remax series.
I got ripped off by a Red Bull.
I got
I
somebody
give you
else
wings and I tell you what to
sponsorship.
do with that feather. Oh boy.
Anyways, last thing I wanted to talk about was Toledo.
Toledo.
Toledo is the only place, well, not the only place. I think it is the only place where not pit road, but all of the trucks and stuff are outside of the racetrack.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was the only one, but yeah, that was one. I think South Boston outside too.
South Boston and Salem were both outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because South Boston had that pit road down the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, that's right. And Berlin, I think, was that way.
Yeah. Yeah. But Toledo was always a good time because Toledo's racetrack is in the middle of the hood.
Yeah, you were hometown.
I did 2 Toledo races in my lifetime. And both times we stayed at the same hotel. One time I stayed with Timmy, one time I stayed with my brother Mike, and we were always fascinated by the bullet holes in the doors.
Once again, we'll have to make note that you'll have that on the big jobs. It was just for ventilation.
Airflow. It's good.
You turn on the news and they're talking about a prostitution ring being taken out, and the video is being shot right across the street from where we're staying.
Yeah, buddy.
It could not get any better than that.
Good
All
time.
right. Anyways, I'm sorry that I did not give you the Camaro. As I was telling Burke, I do believe right now it is a race car for Mike Cook's son.
Well, see, that's great. I'm glad it's coming, full circle, doing what it's probably meant to do. And it's like, really, dude? You did? Oh, I love that car. That car loved me.
So how has life been after racing? Do you miss it?
Wow. Oh man, every day. And it's like, things happen. I can imagine, I've had the discussion. It's like, if the sponsorship had hit, if any one thing had worked, I wouldn't be where I am now as far as at life. I probably wouldn't have my daughter. I would have never been down that road. So, I mean, I know things happen, but it doesn't go away. Matter of fact, I don't know, I think maybe you posted something in the last week or so, because somebody at my work came in, I don't know, last Monday and said, I didn't know you were a race car driver. And I was like, what? And they had Daytona's greatest hits.
Oh.
And I said, yep.
Been there, done that.
And so they had found the crash, and like, how did that? So it must have come up somehow. It popped up on some video. I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't think I've posted anything about a video, but that little snippet that we did on Tuesday of last week, was it? Or Tuesday of this week? I can't remember now. We've done so many shows this
Yeah.
week.
A couple weeks ago.
It was a couple of weeks ago, but that show came out yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Okay.
Yesterday, or maybe it was Tuesday that it came out. Which I know that whenever a show comes out, it automatically gets posted to Facebook with your name. When did that show
March
come out?
5th.
Yeah, so that came out March 5th, which would have been Tuesday. When did he talk to you?
Oh man, I want to say it was this week. So it was probably after, because I was like, well, they're doing something with it, because how did these folks know? I was like, yeah, that was me. I was like, that's what I was doing. And so they've been asking me stuff, and they asked me that same thing. It's like, well, why'd you stop? And I was like, it was a money game. We never really hit anything. So we had mom and pop team. We were scraping everything we could, and it just didn't work out. And, we just never got off the ground. That was in the days of, those starting Parkers. And then right after we were done, you hear them on Sunday going, wow, these teams are really trying hard. They can only start and park and do a few, and they're just trying to build their program. And it's like, wait a minute, where was that coverage for us? It was a new toy.
Who was the gentleman that used to race for Wayne? That
Oh, geez, which one?
colostomy bag.
He raced the same time I did. Tim Mitchell.
Tim Mitchell.
Tim Mitchell.
I
talked to him.
What? Wait, what?
I've still talked to him. Not
you
too
do?
long ago. Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah, you were working for him or something.
Yeah, I actually ended up working for him too. He owned a couple of skating rinks. So, I really could say, it's skating.
Back when I had Pit Road News, I actually wrote an article about Tim Mitchell racing after cancer and all that. And I won an award with the AARWBA for that article.
Cool.
You're an award-winning author?
Yeah.
Gonna add that to the title now too. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
See, now we'll never live it now.
I actually interviewed Tim, and I still have the story somewhere. I'll probably post that story when this episode comes out. I'll post it on our website. But it was a good article, and Tim Mitchell's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Oh man, you're not kidding.
Just an all around great guy. He was fun to talk to. And he was one of the guys in the garage where he'd help anyone. Did that say that Pocono is the next race?
Oh, the P word.
So Pocono.
I've been there.
This was
you have to go there.
This was the time. So
I am put a disclaimer on Pocono. It's arguably one of the best racing moments in history.
Yeah. For who, you or me?
Well, in fairness, I did not get to witness said historical event. However, it was so hilarious that even the telling of it, you could still bust a gut. And I'll leave it at that.
So, wait, did you race Pocono?
Yeah. Seems like we went there 40,000 times, and I think I raced a couple of times. But I have done some time there.
So, very first time that Scott is going to be Jackman. Very first time. You are the quarterback of the team.
Yeah,
Scott,
I seem to kind of remember something like that.
Scott, out of shape, Scott. Totally out of shape. What jack do you want to use? We have a racing jack here. We have this jack. This is the jack that we use in the pit stall all the time. Well, that's the one I'm used to. I'll use that one. Didn't realize that jack weighed about 40 pounds. And it was not a one pump item.
Hey, but at least the wheels didn't sink in the asphalt.
So I jump over the wall as Timmy's coming up, and I'm like, Timmy's driving. He's going to hit me. He's going to hit me. He's going to hit me. Make it around the car. Stick the jack under. 442 pumps later, it's up high enough to get the tires off. By this point in time, I'm tired.
You need a cigarette.
Drop the jack. Instead of picking the jack up, no, I drag it behind me. Fuck this shit. Make it around to the driver's side. Pump it back up.
I can only wish that I would have had an in-car camera. It would have been gold.
America's Funniest Home Video material.
Now,
To see that jack trailing along behind Scott, to get to the other side was something to behold.
Magical moment.
It was magic. It was pure magic.
it was all I hear on the radio as he is pulling away is him laughing.
Oh.
Now, to top it off, we decided that we were going to pit Norm Benning's car as well. Now, luckily, Norm.
You're like on the radio, you didn't hear the channel. Wait. We got to do that again. Let's let him do Norm's car.
So Timmy pulls out, and right behind Timmy is Norm Benning pulling in. And Norm says,
Suck it up, Buttercup.
I just want left side tires. And I went, thank God. So his car pulls up, stick the jack under. I start pumping 442 times. All of a sudden, the jack slips off of the jack post and rips half of his car off. I have a fabulous picture of Boss Lady trying to calm me down at Pocono. I just ripped a NASCAR driver's car door off.
Yeah.
At least you're good at the Bondo. Get to work, boy.
You'll have that on the
Go get the grinder. Don't worry about it. Mama makes 90 grand. Oh boy.
That was my last time as the Jackman. I became a catch can man after that.
What job
That's
can do the
right.
least amount of damage? Let's see.
Don't worry, I'll figure out
right.
some way to fuck that up.
See, I'm trying to remember whether the Photoshop pictures came before or after that, because if they had come before, you would have been right in thinking Timmy's going to hit me. I would have like, bling, right over the top. I like that Photoshop, dude.
So when you work for a smaller
Don't
team,
worry, he's just skating.
So when you work for a smaller team like that, you try to figure out where you fit in best. So I started as a tire carrier. Those tires are 75 fucking pounds, man. And you have to throw them onto a post with 5 fingers. You better fucking get it right. Or now, the very first time I tire carried, it was fabulous. Timmy was in, he was out. Eric and I worked well together. The next time, broken ribs and all, throw that puppy on there. I'm like, I can't find the fucking hole.
The story of your life, Scott.
And Eric's just sitting there with the gun, and I'm like, help me.
He's waiting.
He's like, well, okay.
How do we not have a movie? I mean, how do we not have? I mean, we can take, liberties, and we can link all these stories and link it into a series of. It could be somewhere between Days of Thunder and Six Pack. I mean, it really could.
Like the Caddyshack of driving.
Wait, what was the Burt Reynolds? Was the Burt Reynolds movie
Hooper.
Six Pack?
No. Oh yeah. No. That was Stroker Ace.
That's it.
That's it, baby.
I think we did a review of that. Did we do a review of that?
Did not do that one.
May have done that on Cleveland Sports Fan. Yeah. Clyde
We could paint the car like a chicken.
Clyde Turkle, was that his name? I think that was it.
The fastest chicken in the South.
I could so do this. We could so do this. We can make. Just let me sit down. I write like you wouldn't believe.
Well,
yeah,
in
stuff like.
true form,
Welcome to the
can
Davis and
change
Davis
the
Show's
sponsor.
dating, marital, and sex tips of the week. Remember the 250-mile rule. Never cheat on your spouse unless you are at least 250 miles away. It is imperative to keep distance between the wife and the girlfriend for a happy lifestyle. It is a major plus to have separate bank accounts. This makes it easier to take those vacations to Put-in-Bay Island and not let anyone know how much money you are really spending. This has been the Davis and Davis Show's dating, marital, and sex tips of the day.
I told you I am a writer and a half.
Right, better than you, Jack.
Wow.
That's for sure.
Or build tents.
Oh, God.
It's not the building them; it's the
Or
staking them
put
down.
One of the hardest parts of getting older is feeling like something's off in your body, but not knowing exactly what. It's not just aging, it's often your hormones too. When they fall out of balance, everything feels off. But here's the good news. This doesn't have to be the story of your next chapter. Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth is an herbal formula made with science-backed ingredients designed to fine-tune your hormones by balancing estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, and even stress hormones like cortisol. It helps with common issues such as hot flashes, poor sleep, low energy, bloating, and more. With over 40,000 reviews and a bottle sold every 24 seconds, the results speak for themselves. A survey found 86% of women lost weight, 77% saw an improved mood, and 100% felt like themselves again. Start your next chapter feeling balanced and in control. For a limited time, get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com with code NEXTCHAPTER at checkout. Visit happymammoth.com today and get your old self back naturally.
Okay, girls, today I'm giving you the inside scoop on my favorite place to save this spring. At Ross. It's the spot to get everything you need at prices you'll love. Because when you find brand names for 20 to 60% off other retailers' prices, you'll definitely be finding your next favorite outfit and more. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on these deals on your favorite dresses and tops. And at this price, you might as well throw in a new purse or pair of shoes too. But Ross isn't just about savings. They're about giving back. This year, Ross and their customers raised over $4.1 million to support the Boys and Girls Clubs and local youth programs to help kids and families thrive. Seriously, just visit your local Ross and see for yourself, because I know you like to keep your closet full and your costs low. So what are you waiting for? Say yes for less at your local Ross.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
It took an ugly turn, didn't it?
Wait.
It's time for the Davis and Davis Show's marriage sex help tips for the day. Number 1. It's totally acceptable to refrain from doing stuff around the house if the sex train has come to an end. On top of that, it's great communication to explain the fact that she has become frigid and lacks sex drive. This empowers her with the knowledge to fix the broken parts inside of her. Number 2. If she mentions Viagra as a solution for your erectile dysfunction, remind her that she can travel down the road to the gym and lose 50 pounds. That will be way cheaper than Viagra. Number 3. When angry at each other, it is best to have sex in the doggy-style position. This way, every time whatever she did pops into your head, you can adjust to accidentally stick it in her booty, giving you instant pleasure knowing you're getting her back. Number 4. Never during sex use the line, "Is that your ass that stinks?" I have found that usually shuts down any sex drive a woman can muster. And number 5. Make sure you shower after seeing your girlfriend. I don't know how, but wives can always smell that shit. This has been the marital tips from the Davis and Davis Show.
See? I could write a script.
You know, I've never talked to a dead man until now. Nice knowing you, buddy. You're going to think those broken ribs were child's play. You gotta write your exit jingle, you know. This has been, in the literal sense, this has been the Davis and Davis Show.
Now it's the Davis Show.
Yeah. It's the Davis and that other dumbass that just got killed by his wife. Former show. Oh my God.
Oh man. So did you get any of your kids into racing?
No. It's part of the Scared Straight program.
Oh, okay. Totally understand.
No. She couldn't. She's not been around that. I haven't been at a racetrack since my one-off in Chicagoland. Oh gosh, how long ago was that? Forever, it seems like. She wasn't even born when I was out, not racing anymore. So I haven't gone to a race. I rarely even watch them now because they've changed it so much. And I'll tune in where I can, but it's evolved so much. It's something she knows I did. I think she's seen a couple of little snippets of it, but no, that's just not her thing.
No, that happens. Yeah. Burke
Yeah.
and I have well, Burke was never into stock car racing. But we're starting to get into vintage car racing. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for a roller right now.
Nice.
But our buddy Bob has a, what is that, a 1964 Austin Healey Sprite?
59, I think.
59.
Oh, wow.
Austin Healey Sprite.
He's got the Sebring front end, so it doesn't have the goofy frog eyes on it.
Thankfully.
Nice.
And we've gone up to Put-in-Bay Island every year for the past 2 years, or is it 3 years? 3 years. Doing the vintage car race up there. And you know what? It's the exact same feeling that I had when I got into the ARCA garage. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. And
yeah,
I mean, it's a lot different than ARCA because you do everything. Like the last race, I took his engine apart to figure out why he was losing compression. And he had split the head gasket between the two and the three. Yeah.
Crossfire between cylinders.
Yep.
And yet he still did really well. He was just down on power a little bit.
Yeah.
His car
nice.
had trouble starting every damn time. And but once he got started, he was doing okay. But yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh wow.
It was, I mean, the only thing that I had put the compression checker on the number 2, and when it only made it up to half, I was like, yeah, there's a problem.
Yeah, there might be a problem.
There might be a little bit of a problem there.
I'm thinking.
But I get the very same feeling that I had in ARCA as I do there.
Well, like people would come by and like, hey, do you got a tie rod end and this thread? And they'd go through a drawer, like, there you go, take it.
Nice.
Somebody gave Bob a set of 2 tires. Cool. Yeah, somebody gave Bob a set of 2 tires, and then he gave them to somebody else that needed them more than he did. And yeah, no, it's just a nice group.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a lot. It's a lot like being in the garage at an ARCA race. Who was that? Shelmerdine. Ended up giving us a carburetor to borrow for testing. He was with Paul Menard. He was with Paul Menard. No, that was with you, Timmy.
Yeah.
If you don't remember, Paul Menard, Kirk Shelmerdine was it Kirk Shelmerdine? I think it was.
Meal. We had Shane Meal. It was in ARCA.
We already had our discussion about Shane Meal.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember where. I know he did some ARCA stuff, but I can't remember. I mean, I don't think I was at an event he was in.
No, this was Daytona testing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was Daytona testing. Kirk Shelmerdine actually came over and gave us one of his carburetors to test out on the car because we were so much slower than everyone else. He thought that it was just the carburetor, not the 23-degree motor.
Well, you'll have that on the big job too.
I mean,
shit.
You knew something was up when every car that went by went meow, 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 and then here comes Timmy.
that don't sound right.
Is he on all 8?
Hey, we finally got an SB2 motor, and that was a world of difference. That's when we realized that car really sucked for setting up. Well, now you know why it was a show car.
Ouch.
All right, we've been on here quite long enough, guys. We got to get out of here. Well, I thank Timmy for coming on. Hey, is there anything that you want to say, Timmy, before you go?
Nah, hey, just it was a good time. Thanks a lot. It's always good to reminisce. You know, I'm telling you, man, we got to write. Like we should have I got stories that you guys weren't a part of because, you know, they were with Peterson or whoever else. And I mean, we could put that stuff into a script, man. But it's been great. Been cool.
Believe me, the whole fight between Kurt and Mike could be an hour-long segment.
Well, even that story. I mean, Kurt, we're in the cook's shop, and we're, you know, I think you had gotten disgusted with Bondo. I can't really remember, but I remember I was in the driver's seat doing something, and Kurt was laying down in the passenger side. We're doing some wiring, and a hot wire got over against the roll cage or something.
Oh,
and the look on his face with the sparks flying from behind his head and the sound that was coming out of his mouth was more pure magic.
These are memories you'll take to your grave.
See, that's exactly right. You know,
if we were to write a screenplay, you know that 3/4 of it would have to get cut out because of actually
but
we
see,
could we could write that in.
Now you're in the merchandising because you can have director's cut, extended version, you know, behind the scenes. Come on, man.
They got to think of the big picture, man.
Absolutely. The sequel, you know. The funding fell through. Mama lost 90 grand.
Wait, that's the perfect name for it. Mama lost 90 grand.
It's the old thing. How do you make $1 million in racing? You start with 3, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think
that's cool. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Go Alarm South.
Now, you know, it's been a nice conversation.
Don't fuck it up, Scott.
Yeah. I still scratch my head when I think of that whole thing and just wonder what went wrong. I probably got more time for Alarm South than I got in 3 years of on the circuit from one crash. And I think it was your brother that told me they got some big deal out of the advertising that they got. And I'm thinking, how did we not end up with them as a sponsor? You know?
Yeah. I'm actually showing Burke right now some photos, like
the Sultan of whatever.
See,
riding the Red Bull.
Yeah. Well, and that's all tied to Charlotte because I mean,
you two are cute together.
That's me and Ed.
Oh, okay.
This is actually the picture of me getting my ribs broken. Kristen took this right before he threw me on the ground. But look at the size of that freaking mullet. Why wouldn't I call him? Yeah.
I need a copy of that picture.
I'll send it to you. There's Timmy. That's Mike Cook. That's us painting the car. And Mike Cook found this color of white that was beyond white. It was so bright. No, the white was white.
Brilliant.
The red was absolutely shiny as all get out as well.
Yep.
But Timmy and I sat and painted that car for 2 days.
It's all a blur.
Let's see here. There's Trish consoling me at Pocono after
I don't think we had very much ventilation when we painted that. That might explain a few things.
I was looking at the face masks, and they're kind of like, you might as well throw a bandana over your face. Hey, it's the wig.
There's the wig with Erica.
That is an amazing mullet.
Good times.
There's the whole crew. Big guy, Mike Cook, guy on the end. Is that me?
That's you.
Oh, of course it is. I've got like the second biggest boobs in the row.
There, you're hiding your boobs behind somebody.
Oh, that's Kristen.
Another visual we didn't need.
There's Amber Cook. The first time I met her, they were making her grind down a spoiler. There's Timmy and I at Salem. Yes, this was before the race. What they would do is they would have people come out on the track, and all the drivers would sign autographs and stuff. I think that was the only autograph that Timmy ever signed.
You'd be surprised at how many I signed. And it was so cool because all the big lines are in the front, because they lined you up by qualifying order, and that was cool. I mean, I didn't care less, but like the people who had smaller kids that didn't want to get into the mob, they'd come to the back, and you'd get to talk to them, and the kids, they didn't have to worry about the kids, and the kids were really awesome because they don't care who you are and that you're not going to win the race. It's a race car, and they're there with their dad, and they're talking to the guy that's going to be in it, and for them that was cool. And then some of them just tell you, man, I like to come to the back, hope root for the underdogs, and so that was cool. To me, it wasn't anything bad about it.
I'm showing him the picture of turn 2 at Salem.
Those
look at that
are
rake.
Fucking amazing.
But look at how steep that's
a hell of a bank. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think that was one of the steepest banks that we did in ARCA. That's me.
It's like it was like Bristol with without, before progressive banking and all that. It was, I think it's 30, 32 or something like that. It's
Jesus.
steep. It's great.
That's me, my brother, and Chris Cook at Salem. That's all of us. There's Timmy, the guy you've been talking to for the past hour. This is Daytona. This was the Daytona 500 that we got sponsored by Alarm South, and we never got the money.
Oops.
Yeah.
That
went somewhere.
Yeah, that money disappeared somewhere. This was Nashville Super Speedway. This was when we changed the car to this is when the car was yellow and blue. I don't think I have. Ooh, look at that. That's a great picture. I got a great picture of you crossing the start finish line at Nashville Super Speedway with the Nashville Super Speedway logo behind you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Need that one too. Send me that one.
Yeah.
All those Facebook pics.
Yeah, I'm just doing all the stuff that's on Facebook. There's Timmy. This is the Taj Mahal.
It exists.
It is pretty fancy, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it was. It was uptown, man.
This is me and my brother. This is the first race that I ever went to. I was actually working for James Hilton. and the 48.
Good old James.
Good old James, man. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
He was when he was on the pit box after the race, he was like, "What's your name again?" I said, "Scott." He goes, "Get the fuck out of this business. It sucks."
Oh boy.
So
if only we'd listened to the man.
Turned out to be the oldest man to ever race a NASCAR race.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
He died a couple of years ago. Probably 10 years now. If that. But he was a good guy.
I think it's been that long.
I was going to have Andy Belmont come on tonight as well. But I knew that the only thing that he was ever going to remember about you was you shifting at Gateway.
Well, that was before he got pissed at me.
What? Wait, was Andy the one that went and hit you on the backstretch?
Well, we had a deal at Pocono. And in his defense, I mean, he thought I had done what I did not. But we never. There was a couple of times some things happened, and it just like spiraled. I mean, and it was just a racing thing, and somebody else hit him, and then he thought I was the one who had done it, and that's basically because I missed the accident, and so I was the car that he saw. So he naturally thought that I hit him. And so he wasn't pleased with me.
Wait, what racetrack was that?
That one was Pocono.
Pocono.
And
I couldn't remember which track it was.
Yeah, we were playing bumper tag on the backstretch, and basically I was running from him because I knew that he was going to wreck me if he could, after the race was over. And I got to fix those things,
Scott's going to have to Bondo so goddamn much.
I do like the smell of Bondo.
Bondo's okay as long as it's not 900 freaking degrees in the garage with no air conditioning. And then you step outside at 2 o'clock in the morning, and all the tarantulas in the road. You're like, this is just not a place I want to live.
They love you.
Not to mention the fact that I gained a freaking cat out of that place, which went home with me. And Timmy was letting me borrow his helmet because I didn't have a helmet for the pit crew, and I took a cat home inside the helmet. And then
funny, I never heard that story.
And then said cat turned out to grow up into a 30-pound freaking beast whose paw could fit inside of my hand. Like,
well, that's what you get.
Sure wasn't a bobcat you picked up?
No, his father was the outdoor cat for the Cooks. And he lived inside of a hot tub for about a week at the Cook's house, and that's when I finally said,
"What was the cat? The cat that was her name, Pearl."
Pearl. Oh, Pearl would be all over you, man. If you were working up in that garage, Pearl was just right there with you. Loved that cat. But what was the name of the male cat, the one that was Dega's dad? kept getting attacked by wolves.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll have that on the big jobs.
And you'll lose.
Well, he definitely lost after about the second time. But
right.
we took his he was a big cat to begin with. He was big. Big Maine Coon cat. And I took his son and took him home, and he had botfly larva growing in his neck and all this. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get this. Take him to the vet and all.
Outstanding.
A year later, that cat weighed 30 pounds and
Jesus.
stood almost 2 feet tall. I was like, what the fuck did I do? And at the time,
he'll kick your butt.
At the time, Kristen's brother was living with us, and he had a pit bull, 65-pound pit bull. Dacre would smack her in the face, and Dutchie would be like, "No, I'll leave you alone." so
I'll tell you,
Dacre and Beatrice used to sit in the bedroom in the doorway to tempt Dutchie to come in, and the other cat would be sitting against the wall just in the opening, so that when Dutchie came in to fuck with the one cat that it saw, the other cat would come from the side and just beat the shit out of her.
Clever girl.
See, I don't think that was taunting. That was just, I dare you.
It's exactly what it was.
That's what velociraptors do. They come in from the sides.
Come on in.
Go ahead.
Come get you some.
Go ahead.
Oh, those two cats. Oh, anyways. All right. It's 9:00. I got to get out of here. We all have to work in the morning. Well, Timmy doesn't.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep. Got to go to work.
Where are you working now?
Well, now I'm working at a travel center, which basically it's a really fine truck stop. Yeah, it's huge. It's a truck stop palace, but they have bar and great big retail area, and it happens to be a place that truckers stop.
Sure.
So yeah, it's pretty massive. It's a new place. They've only been open a couple of months.
Those places usually tend to have really good restaurants, however.
Yes, they have some good food there, and it's like it's going to make it hard to get into the driving suit if I keep on, Oh wait, I'm not scheduled to be in it anytime soon.
Yeah, that's those days are over, my friend.
Well,
I don't
have to be.
I don't even. Dan Twinning just texted me. Weird Dan from Canada used to bring us Bubba kegs.
Weird Dan, Bubba kegs.
Tons, but like when we didn't make the Daytona race, he had brought down like 4 Bubba kegs, and Timmy and I went somewhere and came back to the hotel where my brother was staying, and he had drank 2 of the Bubba kegs on his own.
Man.
You'll have that on the big job.
So, and the funny thing was that there was a launch that night from Kennedy Space Center. So I go walking out of my hotel room and look up, and there's this rocket going up through the air. I'm like, Mike, come see this. And all you hear is him fall out of the chair at the desk. And by the time he stepped outside, he was like, well, that's a beautiful moon.
See, man, the script writes itself. I mean, Kidding me?
The title, Mama Makes 90 Grand.
See,
Life in the ARCA Series.
It's all a farce because we get the movie, we get the screen, you get the screenplay, we get the movie, we got to do the shooting, and you need some drivers. Done. All I have to have is 90 grand to get all my equipment and everything, suits and.
What was the budget of this movie? 90 grand.
90 grand. That's okay. Mama makes that. Oh, God.
Hey, you know what he's sponsoring now, don't you?
No, no.
He sponsors a BMX team.
Seriously. Well, good. Good for him.
When I heard that, the person that I was talking to, I basically said, is the advertisement Mama Makes 90 grand?
Oh, boy.
Do you see that anywhere on the car or on the motorcycle?
Well, no ill will. It's just like, why did you do that? That was the biggest exercise, and why did we go here?
Yeah.
And then I never saw you again. Never heard from you again. Okay.
But you got to spend a week with him in Paducah.
Well, really? Okay. Yeah, it's time to go. Man, it was great talking to you. There's only so many scabs that you can scratch, I think we just hit the top one.
Don't you want to talk about your Red Raffin experience?
No. There's nothing about that pain that I went through. Having never doing that job, figuring out a good way to do it, make jigs for everything to cut so it would be, uniform, and then getting blessed out because what the beep, 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 beep are you doing? Look, go stick it in your butt. I've been doing these the same way for 12 hours. I don't know what the hell the problem is. He vents and he goes off, comes back and, wow, turns out the room wasn't square. Huh, figure that. I knew it was bad
hang on.
When the tile saw water started turning red, and I was like, what the hell is that? Well, it's because the blood was coming through my skin because I had gotten rid of all the upper layers of dermis. You'll have that on the big jobs.
Didn't my brother teach you how to deal with those situations with him?
I don't recall. I just remembered telling him what he could go do it himself and walking out the door. And
you drive down the seediest road that you can find, and you ask every person that you see, do you have any pot?
Yeah, he needs a joint.
I really need to get some pot.
He needs to get high. Yeah, only time in my life I've ever gone out and tried to solicit some kind of drugs, because I asked the guy, if you got any pot? Because my boss is in serious need of getting high, because I'm going to tell him, Yeah. Don't smoke it, never have. Tried to buy it.
Wow.
It was the desperate hour, man. Woo.
Oh my God. All right.
I'm telling you. We gotta go, but I'm telling you, you got the screenplay, man. You can put all these stories together. Change the names to protect the innocent, no problem.
All except for Ed's, because everyone knows that it's Ed.
Oh, well, just because they know, doesn't,
You just name him Ned. It'll be good. It's all good.
Shitter's full, Clark. You know, come on. Cousin Eddie.
Wonder what that stunt's gonna cost to have a trailer fall off the back of it.
Yeah, because you damn sure couldn't replicate that on accident.
Yeah, we're shooting a film
we're
at
not
your
gonna have the
hotel.
budget.
Do you mind if I shoot a couple of bullet holes through the doors?
We're not. Well, we're not going to have the budget for CGI.
$90,000 don't buy CGI.
Exactly. That wouldn't even buy the computer, you know.
If I can just do it on Canva, I'll be fine.
Good luck with that, right?
All right, guys. I gotta get out of here. You guys gotta get out of here. It was great talking with you, Timmy. I'll call you next week, and we can discuss the writer's fee for this movie that you want. Maybe we could get
about that.
Maybe we can get Red Bull to sponsor
an alarm south.
Well, you know, the guy that was in ASA got his money from Alarm South.
Well, good. Glad they got it.
You'll have that on the big jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It wasn't $90,000 either. All right.
All right, Timmy.
Timmy, thank you for showing up on the show, man. It was a pleasure.
Hey, man, thanks a lot. It was fun.
All right, buddy. I will talk at you later. You have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
As for
Bye-bye.
you, Burke, I love you, man.
I love you, man.
Timmy is gone.
Oh, bye, Timmy.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna stop him to take a break because I felt that he might just shut down.
Fail. Forget it. He's on a roll.
And I mean, it kept going. We are
2 hours.
2 hours 35. This is I got my two-parter.
I don't want to do another intro show. God damn it. We have to film tomorrow. God damn.
But you have to admit, I told you the stories were going to be that.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, let me. So there you have it. 2-show special with Tim Turner. You learned a lot about the ARCA remake, ARCA Menard series.
More than I wanted to know.
We had fun.
Breaking ribs is fun.
Fun.
Sucking in Bondo's fun.
At the amount of, okay, so I guess what we didn't explain was that the car that we got used to be a show car, and before that it raced. So when it was a show car, all they did was put decals on it. If it had a dent, they left the dent, all that stuff. So when Timmy and I went to paint it for Daytona to have the Alarm South theme on it, we bondoed every fucking thing. 3 fucking days of Bondo grind. Then, because I was the only person that had professionally painted before, I had to do the painting.
Oh, goody.
And I had to shoot it with a gun that was like from Kmart. So I spray on primer first, let the primer dry and realized this is happening during the winter time. In
so
a
curing
garage,
times are like double.
In a garage with no heat, that hence the fact that in all the pictures we were in coats. It was cold as fuck. So I go to spray on the white coat first. Spray the whole car. An hour later we go out and it's fucking bubbling up in like 3 different places. I'm like, what the fuck is the Bondo had not totally cured because it was so fucking cold. So as it's curing,
it's off gassing and bubbling up under the paint. Oh, lovely. What, did you hit it with a heat gun?
That's literally what we had to do.
You had to blow dry the whole car.
And then we reshot it in white. Finally got it to stick. Then I shot the red. And my cook looks at me. He's like, "Are we gonna wet sand it?" I said, "It's a fucking race car."
Surprised you bondoed it 5 times. Like, what's the point? It's gonna get dented.
We ain't gonna wet sand this. You're just gonna throw fucking stickers all over it. So I go and shoot clear. I did 4 layers of clear on it. Why I did 4, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Are we gonna sand it down to make it sound?" Fuck no, it's a race car.
How soon after that did he back end into the wall?
2 races.
You're looking at all your work going, mother bus bucket.
And then
I don't think I can bondo that.
To top it off, I mean, I spent all this time doing that white paint job and all that. And after the South Boston race, I had to, well, we did Kansas, we did something else. But I had to go back to work at Irving High School, so I left for a couple of races. I came back to the race like 2 after the one that I was at, and Timmy, with a can of piss paint, painted the car totally dark blue. It was like, why the fuck did I waste my time? Let's just get a can of piss paint. Yeah, that worked out good. Looking good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the stories by Tim Turner.
It was a good time, man.
ARCARacing.com for the ARCA Menard series. Go check it out. You could probably still find Timmy listed as a driver. They try not to take people off the list because it gets a little too thin. DavisandDavisShow.com.
The DavisandDavisShow.com, where we're going to have some Kevin Linnell and Tim Turner merchandise soon.
Oh my God. You'll have that on the big jobs.
That's what 90 grand will get you.
All right, we're out.
Do you mind if I use the loo?
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.